Long ago, in a little town called Oakville, there was a spooky house. Everyone knew it as the scary house on Elm Street. It had been left empty for a long time, and people said it had bad luck. One summer day, a group of teenagers wanted to explore the house. There was Jake, who was brave and liked adventures. Sarah didn't believe in ghosts and thought it was all nonsense. Mark was a bit nervous but also curious, and Lisa loved excitement and thrills. As they got close to the house, the wind blew hard, and the old gate opened by itself, making a creepy sound. The group felt scared, but they kept going. The porch was falling apart, and the windows were broken. It gave them a spooky feeling. They entered the house carefully, and their footsteps echoed in the empty rooms. Dust covered the old furniture, and spiderwebs were everywhere. It felt heavy and quiet in a strange and unsettling way. As they kept exploring, strange things started to happen. Things moved on their own, doors slammed shut, and whispers filled the halls. The group stopped doubting and started feeling really scared. In the dimly lit living room, they found an old photo album. When they opened it, they saw faded pictures of a family that used to live there. The family's smiles looked eerily familiar, as if they were watching the group from the spirit world. Deciding to split up, Jake and Sarah went upstairs, while Mark and Lisa went to the basement. The house seemed to come alive as they separated. Upstairs, Jake and Sarah found a dusty bedroom. The air turned colder, and their breath came out like fog. Suddenly, they heard a child's laughter coming from the closet. They opened it slowly, but there was nothing inside. The laughter kept going, getting louder and scarier. Meanwhile, in the basement, Mark and Lisa discovered a hidden room. It was filled with old toys and broken furniture. Lisa noticed a porcelain doll with glassy eyes. The doll seemed to watch them, and its lips moved slightly, whispering something that sent shivers down their spines. Feeling more and more frightened, they met in the hallway. The doors slammed shut, trapping them inside. The windows broke, and a freezing cold filled the room. Shadows moved on the walls, forming scary shapes. The house seemed to twist and change, defying what they knew. The group huddled together, their fear reaching its highest point. They screamed for help, hoping someone would hear them. But the house swallowed their voices, leaving them trapped inside. As the night went on, they started to lose their minds. They saw the ghostly family that used to live there, their faces filled with pain. The ghosts whispered their secrets, showing a sad history of despair and sorrow. Just when they thought they were doomed to stay in the house forever, they found a way out. They discovered a hidden passage leading to the attic. With new hope, they climbed the stairs, feeling their hearts race. In the attic, they found an old chest. Inside was a diary that revealed the house's dark past. It told the story of a family torn apart by tragedy, their spirits trapped in the house. The diary hinted at a way to break the curse and set the spirits free. Armed with this knowledge, the group performed a risky ritual. They gathered special things and said ancient words, hoping to bring peace to the trapped souls. As they chanted, a bright light filled the house. The spirits appeared before them, their faces now calm and free from pain. They thanked the group for their bravery and sacrifice. With the curse gone, the house went back to being empty and abandoned. The group left, forever changed by their encounter with the supernatural.
The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the sprawling estate that James had inherited. The mansion, a decrepit relic of a bygone era, stood imposingly amidst the overgrown foliage, its windows like vacant eyes staring into the abyss. Though skeptically dismissive of ghostly tales, James couldn't deny the unsettling atmosphere that clung to the air as he stepped into his new home. As night fell, shadows converged, and the wind whispered unsettling secrets through the skeletal branches. James, determined to debunk the supernatural rumors surrounding the mansion, scoffed at the idea of ghosts and began his exploration. The flickering candlelight barely illuminated the vast, desolate hallways, where memories of a forgotten past seemed to linger. The ancient floorboards groaned beneath James's footsteps as he ventured deeper into the heart of the mansion. The air grew colder, and a sense of foreboding enveloped him. A distant, mournful wail echoed through the corridors, making the hair on the back of his neck stand on end. Undeterred, James mocked the unseen presence, challenging the spirits to reveal themselves. As the clock struck midnight, the mansion seemed to come alive with an otherworldly energy. Doors creaked open of their own accord, and spectral whispers echoed through the halls. James felt an icy breath on the back of his neck, yet he clung to his skepticism, attributing each occurrence to mere coincidence. His journey led him to a forgotten room at the end of a dark corridor. The door swung open with an eerie creak, revealing a space frozen in time. Dust-covered furniture and moth-eaten curtains painted a portrait of abandonment. In the center of the room, an old, ornate mirror reflected a dim, distorted image of James. Suddenly, the reflection in the mirror shifted. Faces of long-dead inhabitants, twisted with anguish and despair, stared back at him. His heart pounded as a ghostly hand reached out from the glass, sending a shockwave of terror through his veins. The room plunged into darkness, leaving only the ghostly visages illuminated by an ethereal glow. The tormented spirits materialized, their hollow eyes fixed on James. The air thickened with sorrow as they replayed the tragic events that had unfolded within the mansion's walls. A forbidden love, betrayal, and a gruesome end, the spectral display unfolded like a macabre play from the past. The room echoed with anguished cries, and James, now stripped of his skepticism, felt an overwhelming empathy for the trapped souls. The ghostly figures beckoned him forward, urging him to uncover the truth that had bound them to the mansion. Reluctantly, he followed their spectral procession through secret passages and hidden chambers. Each revelation deepened the sense of dread that permeated the mansion. James learned of a cursed history, of a malevolent force that fed on the misery of those who had once called the estate home. The ghostly lovers, trapped in a perpetual nightmare, pleaded for release from the entity's grip. Driven by a newfound understanding, James delved into rituals and ancient texts to confront the malevolent force. The mansion resisted his every step, its walls pulsating with malevolence. Whispers of the entity taunted him, and unseen hands clawed at his sanity. In a forgotten chamber, James confronted the malevolent force. The air crackled with dark energy as the entity materialized before him, a swirling vortex of despair. The spirits, now unified in their desire for freedom, surrounded the malevolent force, their ethereal forms shielding James. With a final, desperate plea for redemption, James confronted the entity head-on. The room trembled as the mansion itself seemed to protest the intrusion. The malevolent force fought back, a swirling tempest of darkness that threatened to consume everything in its path. In a blinding burst of light, the entity dissipated, its anguished cries echoing through the crumbling walls. The mansion, once held captive by the malevolent force, sighed with relief as the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The ghostly figures, their faces now serene, thanked James before fading into the afterlife. As dawn broke, the mansion stood silent, freed from the grip of the supernatural. James, changed by the haunting ordeal, left the estate with a sense of closure. The once menacing mansion now stood as a testament to the thin veil between the living and the dead.
In the heart of a desolate city, shrouded in perpetual mist, there stood an ominous building that bore the weight of its mysterious past. The once grand edifice now served as the headquarters for a shadowy corporation known only by the ambiguous name, a young woman named Emily, desperate for employment in a struggling economy, found herself drawn to the enigmatic allure of this foreboding structure. One gloomy afternoon, Emily received a call from an anonymous recruiter offering her a position at Darkcore. The voice on the other end was oddly monotonous, lacking any semblance of warmth or humanity. Despite her instincts urging caution, the promise of a well-paying job and the urgency of her financial situation compelled Emily to accept the mysterious offer. Her first day at Darkcorp was an unsettling experience. The office, adorned with dimly lit corridors and creaking floorboards, exuded an eerie atmosphere. The staff, mostly faceless figures hidden behind computer screens, moved silently through the labyrinthine halls. Emily's assigned tasks required her to work late into the night, navigating the labyrinth of shadowy cubicles. As the days went by, Emily's sense of dread intensified. Strange occurrences became a nightly routine. Unexplained footsteps echoed through the empty hallways, and the flickering fluorescent lights cast eerie shadows that seemed to dance to an otherworldly rhythm. Emily's colleagues spoke in hushed whispers about the building's haunted history, tales of former employees who vanished without a trace. One fateful night, Emily found herself alone in the office. The air grew colder as an unsettling silence settled over the space. Glancing up from her computer, she saw ghostly shadows flit across the walls. The temperature dropped drastically, and the familiar hum of office machinery was replaced by an unnerving stillness. Emily received an email with a subject line that sent shivers down her spine. "Your fate sealed." The message contained a series of cryptic symbols and a foreboding message written in an ancient script she couldn't decipher. As she stared at the screen in horror, the room plunged into darkness, leaving only the glow of the monitor illuminating her fear-stricken face. The whispers became more sinister, urging Emily to uncover the dark secrets lurking within Darkcore. In a trance-like state, she found herself drawn to the abandoned room where she had encountered the ghostly figure. As she stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind her, trapping her in the suffocating darkness. Suddenly, the air grew thick with an otherworldly presence, and spectral hands reached out from the shadows, caressing her face with icy fingers. Emily's breath caught in her throat as ghostly apparitions materialized around her, their hollow eyes fixed on her with a haunting intensity. Their mournful wails echoed through the room, creating an otherworldly symphony of despair. In a desperate attempt to escape, Emily stumbled backward, only to find the walls closing in on her. The room seemed to warp and twist, its dimensions distorted by malevolent forces. Panic set in as Emily realized she was trapped in a nightmarish labyrinth, the ghostly figures closing in with each agonizing step. As she frantically searched for an exit, the temperature plummeted, and a ghastly figure emerged from the darkness. Its skeletal face contorted into a grotesque grin as it whispered ancient incantations that sent chills down Emily's spine. The room resonated with a dissonant cacophony, and the air became thick with an oppressive darkness that threatened to consume her soul. In a final act of desperation, Emily uttered a prayer for release. The room seemed to resist her plea, but with an otherworldly force guiding her, she discovered a hidden doorway leading to an ominous staircase. Gasping for breath, she fled down the spiraling stairs, leaving the haunted room and its tormented spirits behind. As she emerged into the dimly lit corridor, Emily felt a profound sense of dread lingering in the air. The malevolent energy continued to claw at her, a constant reminder that Darkcorp held secrets far beyond her understanding. With each passing day, the shadows whispered their macabre secrets, and Emily became entangled in a web of paranormal horrors that refused to release their grip.